This is DC Rainmaker, and I often call Ray the encyclopedia of all things sports tech. And I thought it would be fun to get to know Ray a little bit better, as well as see his studio that he calls the DC Rainmaker Cave. Okay, so I'm here with Ray, and I just figured that the best way to talk through some of this stuff would be to take a sample product and pretend that it comes through your door and talk about how you would potentially review it. And what's interesting about Ray is, yes, he reviews sports watches and things like that, but he also reviews action cameras, drones, bike trainers, bike computers, of course, GPS watches. What am I missing?
Power meters, I guess.
Power meters are huge.
Anything in the sports tech realm, it could be a heart rate sensor, like it's just across the board, anything that's sports techy, not so much health, but sports tech in general.
So if a company that you're familiar with, like Garmin, came through the door and they were like, okay, this product's gonna be released a week from now, and we wanna give you a bit of an early release. A week is not a lot of time to test product, but you get a package like that, dropped at your front door.
Yep.
You have like a parcel place up front.
Yeah, so I've made a custom box, a delivery box.
Which is very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically when a package arrives there, I get a smart notification that a package is in the box.
Okay.
So I put a wireless door sensor inside of it, and then rigged it all up. So
how did you do that? Is that from like
Amazon, $10.
Okay.
So it's
a door sensor that's designed for when the door opens to send a notification.
Yep. And I just use it inside the box to detect when the box lid opens up.
Okay.
And then presumably when the box lid opens up, someone's putting something in the box.
Okay. And it goes to your phone? You get a notification on your phone?
Yep, phone notification, and then it also will announce it here in the studio sometimes too.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that like through Alexa or something like that?
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
But it doesn't know, Alexa sometimes just,
She chooses, picks and chooses.
Picks and chooses, yeah.
So that was here, you built that here in Amsterdam.
Yep.
Before that you were in Paris, you didn't have a package drop. Nothing
you
creative
just had
like that.
Wait for the guy to show up, hopefully.
And how long were you in Paris?
6 years.
6 years?
Yeah.
And then before that you were in DC.
Washington DC, yep.
Okay, hence the DC Rainmaker name.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so let's take a package that you get, and let's say it's like something like the Garmin, was it the Tactics AMOLED screen? What do they call that?
Tactics 7 AMOLED,
Tactics 7 AMOLED, or OLED, okay. Yeah, and so that's a product that's already on the market.
Yep.
And so technically, if you post a review for this watch, it's not going to be on a specific release date.
Right.
Companies,
pretty unusual for me, in general.
Really?
In general, it's the vast majority of products are early access type of things that I'll get usually a month out. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. As you said, like it's definitely better to be longer than shorter, but not too long that you end up like deep in that beta rough cycle. I really want the product reviews to match what the consumer's getting, and I really do try to make sure that the data and all that kind of stuff is on that final firmware version.
Okay, so package comes in, unboxing.
Yep.
You have like a little unboxing station over here, and then I think you mentioned you have one at home as well.
Yeah, so I just recently,
you probably have.
Basically duplicated this. So just simply the basic boards from pallets. That's all they are, and so my wife had done that, and all the pallet boards you see everywhere in here. She did this whole wall and everything.
Yeah,
it's super cool looking.
She did a great job in here.
Yeah,
so shout out to this girl.
It's awesome. So she did all that, and I was like, there's so many times where I need like one extra shot for something, and I do a lot of like close-up shots on that as well. And so I could be working late at night on something and doing it from home, and just like, oh, you know what? I wish I had like just one extra shot. And this allows me. I just like a month ago, I'm like, why don't I just take 6 boards home and this like $2 foam mat behind it and just call it done, and have the exact same setup there for that, and they're identical basically.
You do a lot of stuff out and about, like. You like to travel to do reviews and things a little bit, is that right?
Yeah.
But here in studio, like this is the main shot, right?
Yeah.
Like the main talking head shot.
Exactly.
So here you've got camera facing us. What camera brand do you use?
So Panasonic.
GH5
for both cameras here.
Okay, gotcha. There's the overhead right here, which you guys can't see. Shoots down right here, so if he's talking about a product, it's good to go. And then there's 2 monitors, so he can see one that he can see the overhead and one that you can see the facing shot.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people use really fancy like video monitors and things like that. I bought some crappy.
Yep.
They're like $90 off of Amazon, but they work because I don't need audio or anything. I just need to be able to see in the frame of the shot.
Right.
And it's an IKEA rolling trolley, and
Okay.
it's just everything is all like connected up to the ceiling for power and all that, and everything's all wired. So the cameras are always connected, power on all the time, HDMI connected to the monitors. So everything can always roll everywhere.
And you have lights. You have quite a few lights that are attached to the ceiling as well.
Yep.
Do any of the lights move, or are they all pretty fixed?
They're all, well, they move, they rotate, so every light can rotate around its base, if you will. So
And you have enough of them.
yeah, so like that one up there can rotate to the trainer spot, or it can be the unboxing if you need more light, or us if we needed somehow even more light. But I just go for a very like evenly lit thing across the board is my hope. I just want to be able to like take a picture and not have to worry about it.
The studio here, product comes in, you have basically like an upstairs and a downstairs.
Yep.
Downstairs is got a couple different pieces to it, right? Like it appears like it's maybe more storage or whatever. Obviously, party space.
It's I would say the party space is it gets its most use in the party side of things.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yep.
And then you've got like a little bit of like a little training area down there that you built.
Yeah, so it started off being downstairs used a lot for treadmills. I didn't bother to drag a treadmill up here. It's just
But you have the lever system for
I do.
moving big products up here.
Yeah.
Or is it or death trap?
It's a death trap, yeah. So when I was building this whole space out, because it was basically just we had to gut everything was in here, and then from the concrete back up again, rebuild it all. And one of the things that was always a challenge is it's the Dutch staircases, which are like 45 degrees, super steep angle.
I just figured there wasn't a ton of space. That's just like how things are here.
Every staircase in the Netherlands
just
looks like that.
steep.
Yeah, steep. So like, how do you get up a 100 and something pound bike, like a big indoor trainer bike or something like that? And so at the time, like, I gotta have a lift of some sort. But buying a lift is really expensive.
Yeah.
But making a lift is really cheap. And so I got like basically this hoist, like an engine hoist, and it can lift, I don't know, 250 kilos. So like way more than I would ever need to. That's like 500 pounds. Like I and the bike and everything else can go on that. And then bought some questionable like climbing cord and stuff like that. And just a little pallet I put on there. And
how many people have you killed using this system?
only 4. It's been fine.
So we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Well below the 10-person limit.
Totally.
Yeah. So we're good there. Down there, you've got your sweat box.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
that's pretty newly built, or at
newly
least.
built, yeah, just this past summer or so.
And you didn't like find plans for this online.
No.
You just.
I just made like what would be basically a greenhouse. So nothing fancy. I went to the hardware store one day with my daughter, and we bought like $60 worth of lumber, just all the same piece of wood, just a bundle of it, and we're like, make this happen. A couple hinges and stuff for a door, and a bunch of plastic wrap off of Amazon that are like greenhouse plastic wrap. Like if people were making like a little, tube
Tiny,
greenhouse thing, like that's all I used, and it works really well. I stuck a space heater I had around the studio.
You should make a video like a how-to blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I shot tons of B-roll
Or
for that.
make your wife do it, because she would do an awesome job, and she used it the most.
She did. She suffered the most in there. I suffered a few times. It was miserable.
So she was using that because she was training for an Ironman.
Correct. Yeah, she was training for Ironman in Hawaii, the World Championships there at Kona. So it's really, really hot. Fahrenheit, roughly 90 degrees or so every day, all day.
Humid,
super humid. So yeah, we put a humidifier in there. It was a miserable place.
And then she wore that core suit some too,
Yep.
so to add like insult to injury.
Yes. So she would warm up in the core suit to get things rolling faster, and then go from there. But it was brutal in there. But it's also like if you're racing in a hot place, and the cool thing is you don't have to do that in that chamber. Like do that in your bathroom. Like if you have a bathroom big enough to put not a treadmill, but maybe a bathroom big enough for a treadmill, but I certainly don't. Yeah. But I think most people with enough creativity can find a way to fit a trainer and a bike anyways, squish it in a bathroom. And that'll carry over whether you're running or cycling in that sort of heat acclimation side of things.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy idea, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, there's a reason why every pro does it, right?
Yeah.
It's such a huge difference in how your body handles that.
Yep. And yeah, your blood plasma level increases. Your like ability to actually self-cool it's all good things if you're doing that level of competition for sure. So
Yeah.
it's impressive. Also downstairs, currently there's like a stage down there because you guys had the open house.
Yep.
That went well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we do that every year. We've done in December every year now for 9-10 years, something like that. And basically anyone come for free and literally as the name implies, open house. You can go and just check everything out.
Super nice.
Jump on bikes, and we have a big party, lots of beer. Yeah.
It's very nice that you do that for everyone.
I feel like it's some way to like kind of pay back or something to everyone. So.
Yeah. Okay, so you must get a ridiculous amount of stuff. I have a much smaller amount of gear, and I have a hard time keeping organized. Like, where does stuff come in and go, and how do you keep it organized?
Yeah, so stuff after the review process, I mean, generally during the review process, things are just sort of floating around.
Okay, good. I'm glad that someone else has got a little bit of chaos.
It's a lot of chaos. This is the cleanest it looks every year. Yeah. It's all downhill again after this weekend
good.
Until next December. Like it's just it definitely bottoms out like in September, and then it slowly gets cleaner until now. But so there's. For everything I review, I send those products back to the companies, and then I go out and rebuy everything, just like any normal consumer.
Right.
Like I bought a lot of stuff on Black Friday, many devices,
Yeah.
and so those I then keep for like longer term testing purposes, comparison purposes, all the things like those 4 watches that I have on my wrists that allows me to compare those. And so those go into basically the storage room, which is sorted by bins, and every bin has a purpose in life. And so a company. A brand new company might share a bin with another company. Like it could be like, like 4 watch companies and one's a small bin. But eventually you get your own bin for your watches.
You graduated to your own bin.
And then eventually you get your own bin for your watch chargers, right? This is a dedicated Garmin charger bin. And then eventually you've released enough products that you have like, there's a bin for the Phoenix series. And there's a bin for the Forerunner series and a Vivo.
So you can probably go back and say like, here's what the Phoenix 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep. Yeah.
How far can you go back?
Original, OG, yeah.
It's impressive.
So but it's organization is the name of the game. Like I think that's the biggest thing that you have to do at this scale. Sounds weird, but when you have so much stuff, I remember like in Paris, I had such a small little space, literally underground, hence where the cave came from. And this is still kind of under a building, so it's the same.
So still DCR Cave.
Yep, but I would be constantly using a lot of 4-letter words on trying to find things because it was such a nightmare to find things. But like clear plastic bins is like my biggest suggestion in life for organization.
Yeah,
so you can see what's in it. Versus I had like, closed closeted bins there, and you're like, oh, what's in this one? You pull it out, you have to dig through it all. Like clear plastic bins with label maker, and those are cheap. They're like $1.
Yeah. And then as far as like when you have done the talking head, you've done the B-roll, and it's time to process the video. You work on a Mac or PC, or do you have both?
I have both. So, I used to work at Microsoft, so like I definitely strong Windows leanings, but I edit on a Mac with Final Cut Pro.
I saw an iMac back there. Is that your machine, or you guys both have?
Yep, we both had different ones. So I would historically done more on the iMac editing, but as the Apple Silicon's got faster and faster, like that's an older iMac in my case. My wife has a newer one, but for me, I just edit most of the stuff on the laptop now, and that's just like a second screen to do whatever on. It's older, but I do that there, and then most of the writing as well on the Mac now. But I use the Windows laptop here and there for things. So.
Cool. So then I mentioned upstairs, the talking head area, and then there's kind of a trainer section to our left here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Currently, there's 4 bikes and 4 trainers. It had to have been hard to get those trainers up here.
It's a lot of, again, the bikes are the worst. I just go up the stairs, and the trainer is the same. You just go up the stairs, and I have not squished myself yet. I just push them straight up the stairs and hope for the best.
Do you do your own workouts here?
Yeah, most of them I do here. There's some I do at home, but most of the stuff I'll do here just works out better.
What software do you like to use?
I use a blend of Zwift and Trainer Road the most, but I also use Peloton a fair bit here and there, just to mix things up.
Peloton is in the back room.
Yep,
Yeah, there's like a back living room, I'll show that,
Yep.
With a Peloton, and you like the Peloton a little bit?
Yeah, it's just different. I like to mix it all up, right? Just 3 different platforms, different things, and
Yeah. And then there's a lot more. It seems like there's a lot of new software companies that are popping up every day as far as like training software goes.
There's so many amazing options, and it's not like there's anything better per se about those and these, but I've just been using them for so long that you kind of have that built up, history / just gravitational pull towards using them.
How do you use 4 bikes and 4 bike trainers at the same time? You really stretch out.
There's like you've seen the UCI artistic cycling, dancing.
Yes,
that's like that.
It's just like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like if I probably just dropped your retention rate in this video, because everyone's like, "What is UCI?" It's actually a legit
we're gonna
thing.
cut that in. We're gonna cut that in and blend it in.
It is a legit thing. That's what's so amazing about it. Like, I want to go see one of these. Someday.
Those are like the true cyclists of the world. I look at that and I'm like, yeah, the cyclocross guys aren't that good at biking.
Yeah.
These are the talented ones.
No, it's insane.
Okay, so going back to taking a product, you would potentially unbox it, a watch, for example, and you would just start right away, like getting right into it, or do you usually go in and get some B-roll shots of the product? Like, what are your next steps?
It depends a little bit on how likely I am to kill the product. So if I have a fear that I'm going to kill it, like a drone, at some point along the way, and I don't ever intend to kill a product, but I just know like the threshold for failure is much higher on a drone than like a stationary bike. Like, if I kill a stationary bike, I probably have killed myself in the process. So it's kind of a doesn't really matter sort of thing.
And sometimes you get weird products.
Yeah.
I had that watch that was like saving swimming for last.
Yeah.
Which is like not safe.
No. To be fair though, there was one bike that came through here that had an automatic pedaling system, and I went to go change something near the pedals, and I put my head down there one day, and like it spun forward, and so like I nearly did get killed by the bike. That's scary. There was a long discussion after that with the company. But in any case, normally, I will basically just unbox pretty quickly. I think over time I've decreased my unboxing stuff.
Yeah.
I just tend to use it less and less. Like,
I think that's okay. I think that there's a whole like materialism side of that kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yep.
I will put some sort of unboxing clip into this video, and as well as all of my videos. But
for me, the unboxing, I don't want it to be materialistic. I just want it to be functional. Like, here is what is in the box.
Exactly.
Right. That's all. Like,
here's what you can expect. Here, you're going to get these cables. You're going to get this documentation.
Especially for action cameras and drones, where there's a lot of accessory potential that you want to know, like what exactly is in those boxes. For a watch, it tends to be more straightforward. It's like a charging cable in a watch, right? Maybe an extra strap. But I've gone away from doing that. It's also just a pain in the butt to do all this stuff for that. So, but then I'll shoot a couple of quick shots there, and then I'll simply go out and use it. Depends on what I'm doing. Like some things can go straight on the wrist if it's a watch, if there's space on the wrist, if you will. So like right now, if a new watch came in, there is space on my wrist. Like this one is going through its final review, but it's also not time critical, but I'm not expecting any watches.
You've also already reviewed the Coros Pace 3?
Already reviewed this. So right now I'm just wearing this because I want a couple more days of data on some of the HRV pieces to get some longer term look at how that all works. But like if something came in...
that was sort of newly added, the HRV.
Exactly, just came out a few weeks ago. So something came in on that had to replace this, then no big deal, right? It's fine.
Yeah, so you would take it out, you would... like for the tactics, did you probably know pretty well, because a lot of that hardware is somewhat similar to the devices they've had before, but you try to get a swim, a bike, a run with these sort of things, multiple potentially, because you're biking every day. Yeah, so my goal for most devices that collect data is really about a month's worth of data, is the end goal, and sometimes that's achievable, and sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter, but as a general rule, like there's a minimum threshold for me of at least a swim, bike, run, assuming it's the right time of year for outdoor swimming anyways, and it's a bit chilly today, though people were out there this morning. It was snow last night, and as I was coming in this day, there was 4 people out there with swim buoys going for open water swims without wetsuits. So it's insane. But anyways, otherwise, definitely multiple runs, multiple rides, ideally both outdoors and indoors because they're 2 totally different things. And then sounds like a core workout or something like that along the way. And then with all of that data, typically you're comparing a watch to another device, like another watch to another watch that's like a known good. Known good. Yeah, so my goal is to compare, in the case of GPS tracks, no less than 3 GPS tracks concurrently, sometimes usually 4 is just how it works out. And you'll wear like wrist, hand.
Hand, yeah. So if I were to wear wrist like right next to each other, then these are going to bump, and there's lots of different ways that's a failure. But if I put it on the hand up here, then obviously you're not getting heart rate up here, but that's totally fine. I don't need heart rate for that.
Right.
I have a chest strap, something else paired to it. I'm just looking for the GPS data, and from a how companies do their comparisons, they do the same thing. They put it up here on the hand because the distance there is identical between someone that has a longer arm versus a shorter arm, so there's no meaningful change there in how that works. And then I'll have different heart rate sensors. So comparing heart rate, I'll have one per wrist, and then I'll have upper arm band, like this is the Whoop band up here for right now, and then I'll have usually a polar sensor on the other arm, and then a chest strap. And that between all those things, you've got good validation points to be like, oh, this is correct or not correct, et cetera.
And then all that data, do you keep it in, obviously you've got Excel spreadsheets and things like that, or does it all get dumped into the DC Analyzer tool that you created?
Everything into the analyzer. So I've got the DCR Analyzer, which was started as a pet project a long time ago, many years ago, because I just couldn't deal with getting fitness files into Excel efficiently. So it's one thing to do that once as a one-off experiment where you export out as a CSV file and pull it in, but to do that every single day for 4 to 6 devices at once, and do that perhaps twice a day, you're talking a dozen files, and then how to convert those files when they don't have ways to convert them natively. It's just that became just a logistical hell. So I ended up working with a developer to make this website that basically just allowed me, and it was only just for me at that point in time, to analyze things quickly. So I can just drag any file onto there from any fitness vendor, and it enumerates it perfectly and it overlays them, compares them, and then over time people are like, hey, how are you doing this? And you can use it too. It's awesome.
It's an awesome tool. It's a tool that I use on my channel as well.
Yep.
Pretty nice.
Yeah. It's not fancy, but it works.
So after that, do you dump those files? You're done. You're happy. Once they're in the analyzer tool and you've labeled them the way that you want to, you're good.
Yeah, I have a giant Dropbox share where all the sets are. So I create each set on a Dropbox share just by the date and the thing I did. So it could be September 12th, 30 by 30 bike workout. Just very, very simple. And then that way I always have the original files.
And you have a whole bunch of files in there.
Yep.
Okay, so you use Dropbox to kind of cloud stuff.
Yeah.
Are you taking notes on the device as well? I really like the way that this backlight is on this. I'm going to make a note of that so that when I do the review and the talking head part that I'll mention it. Are you taking notes as you go through the month, or do you kind of compile that at the end?
Mostly at the end, yeah.
You just press record and start talking.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's certainly things that, generally speaking, I prefer to write the written review before I start recording, because I find that, for people that know on YouTube, you may know me just YouTube, but I also have the site, and the site is where everything started, and it's arguably far bigger than the YouTube side of things for me. And so the site, when I write a review, I tend to flush out all my thoughts there, versus if I try to shoot a video first on something without a written review, then I might miss something. So by the time I finish the written review, everything's they're 10,000 words long. So I've figured it all out then. Then I've got to figure out how to condense that 10,000 words into something that's
10 minutes or so.
Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes, whatever it is on YouTube. So that tends to be the more difficult thing. I think if people were to compare my written reviews to my YouTube reviews, you'll generally find the written reviews are far more detailed, just because it's really tough to condense that into something that's viable. I think probably the closest comparison is the beginner's guides that I do that are almost an hour long usually, and those are basically here's my written review, but with a bunch of more practical tips and things like that.
So no notes really then when you're actually recording. It's just mostly you've written this stuff on the site before and you kind of have a feel for what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
And then where can people find that website?
DCRainmaker.com.
Okay.
So easy peasy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then for the videos, I'll have a quick notes section of things I just need not to forget to mention, so I don't get to the end of it and be like, I totally didn't talk about this feature. But it's literally just one line of boom, 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 boom. And then I just talk and hopefully condense it down.
Nice.
I know, I've got the teleprompter up there, but I've
never used it.
Never used it.
Yeah. Yeah, I use a teleprompter all the time.
It works
for me. I don't think it's good. I think it's bad. I think it's a bad choice. But yeah, because then you become reliant on it. And then when you try and do something at the Apple headquarters, you just fail.
But you did something amazing at the Apple headquarters this year. You helped film my videos.
Yes, that was huge. Yeah. That was huge. Okay, so highly recommend that you guys check out Rainmaker at DCRainmaker.com, as well as his YouTube channel, which people can just find. I will, of course, link it in the description of this video and pin a comment to the top. But you can find it DC Rainmaker if you search for it. If you're not already subscribed, which I bet a lot of you guys are. If not, definitely subscribe. It's like I said at the top of this video, I consider him the encyclopedia of sports technology, kind of answers for all of your questions in that regard. And just really appreciate you taking the time to talk.
Yeah, no, I appreciate taking the time to come over for the open house and
really
enjoy
fun.
all of the Amsterdam weather there had to be for this time period. It's always good to see you and look forward to down the road somewhere as well.
Yeah, we'll cross paths again.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome.